Hey everyone, today we are talking about Sam Bahadur and how it is probably one of the most 5 out of 10 movies I've ever seen in my life. Now, let me explain. Right now, I went into this. Sam Bahadur, obviously, it's a biopic of Sam Shah, and my family's like into army stuff, coming from an army background, so we were like, oh, cool, fun watch as a family. And yeah, it was okay. It was an okay watch as a family. Everyone was invested. I was invested. It's cool. It's cool. And I was seeing a lot of people, basically say, "Oh, the general the general Indian audience called it boring, and it's not even like, this is the reason why Indian audience doesn't deserve good movies because this movie was actually good." And I was like, you know what? This is one of those underrated movies where it's a really good movie, but majority of the Indians are, stupid and they don't understand what good movies are. And then I watched the movie and I was like, I wouldn't say the movie is boring, but I will say it is the most safest mid movie I have ever seen. Now, what do I mean by that? It's very simple. There is nothing bad about the movie. Objectively, there's nothing bad, except for maybe like it could have used a bit more colors and maybe a bit better lighting, but there's nothing actually bad about the movie, but there's nothing good about it either. This is just one of those movies which, yeah, it's just there, you know. It doesn't have, and that's the thing though. And now, this is an interesting topic. Is it because we're so used to having overly dramatic biopics in the history of Indian cinema that we're like, oh, this is a boring comparison to all the much funner biopics? Or is it just a case of there really wasn't much to like in this movie, right? Vicky Kaushal's acting is fine. It's not, again, everything in this movie is fine. There's nothing where I can point out and be like, you know what, this sucked. Because it didn't. It's genuinely a nice movie. It's just nice though. There is nothing spectacular about it. And I don't mind a movie being like not the best movie ever. I mean, not every movie can be like 10 out of 10, right? But this just made me feel like this is such a safe movie. Like, oh, it rides on the patriotism and it's a biopic and you really can't hate on it. And it was just so bland. It's like eating oats. It's gonna fill you up, but it's not gonna give you any taste. Like, it's healthy for you, but like sometimes you don't want oats, sometimes you want little masala oats or something. That's a very fucking weird comparison, but you get what I mean. And yeah, I wouldn't, again, if the people were saying the movie is boring, then okay, you just have really short attention spans, because the movie's not boring, I will say that. If you're into like something happening every 5 minutes, then yeah, maybe you'll find it boring. But what I mean is, like, even from a proper, like, I'm into all sorts of movies. I don't give a shit if it's boring or not. I don't usually find movies boring unless they're bad. This is not a bad movie. But I will say, it just feels like things are happening. I don't know, the stakes don't feel high enough. And that's the funny thing. It's a realistic movie. This movie is actually really realistic. Well, realistic to some degree, because there's a lot of thing where like, oh, it's not actually how Sam Shah was. Like, it's a biopic. You really think they're gonna get every detail down? It's a movie. But people don't want to talk about that. But yeah, even every aspect, it's like realistic in the sense that, yeah, he was like a top official and he was dealing with the prime ministers and the defense ministers, and he was very integral in the part of the war. And it's just that, it's when I say it's realistic, I mean it literally is showing that here's a top brass officer doing top brass things, and here's a movie about it. It's a great story to read, and I said this to my sister as well. This entire movie is actually something which you would feel more rewarding when you read about it, when you hear about it. Like, oh my god, Sam Shah was the reason that this strategy was applied. It's a really good read. It's a really good hear, like a story. It does not translate into a good movie, however. And I did not find any movie which is so obvious than this. This is a great example of some things just don't translate into watchable content. Just because it doesn't translate doesn't mean it's bad. But sometimes you can just leave it off the cinema. And I think Sam Shah is one of those examples where it's like, you don't have as much to watch. Like, it's not entertaining as such. And it's not informative either, right? If I'm me in general, personally, I have a distaste for biopics. I think they're just easy to make. They usually recounting the life of someone. I just don't like biopics, okay? And I hate how they're always recognized like, oh my god, such good acting, because it's like you're acting like another person. But again, who am I, right? That's just my personal preference. There are plenty biopics which I still think are fucking incredible. But yeah, this was one of them where I was like, yeah, it's a safe option. It's a biopic. It's about one of the field marshals of India. It's riding on patriotism. And I will say, not boring, again, defending it by saying not boring, but not praising it by saying, oh my god, the audience is stupid. Like, if someone came up to me and were like, yeah, I thought Sam Manekshaw was boring as hell, I would not be like, this guy, this stupid guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I would be like, yeah, I can see why you thought that. I didn't find it boring, but I can see why people did, right? And yeah, I don't really have more thoughts on this. I think I already gave my rating at the start. This is such a strong 5 out of 10. It's very, very mid. And I don't see anything worth talking about in this. Like, yeah, the acting was fine. The music was I didn't like the music. But yeah, the acting was fine. It was just there. Like, this feels like one of those movies where don't waste your time on it. It's not even if you have 2.5 hours on your hand, go do something else. Go watch another movie. Go be more productive. Don't waste your time on this. This is one of those, yeah, just there to be there kind of movies. Like, there's so many better movies out there. Don't waste your time on this. So yeah, I would say this is a 5 out of 10. Watch better movies. It's not a bad movie. If you're feeling patriotic, go ahead and watch it. But there's better patriotic movies as well. Anyway, that's my review. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.